we would see benches that would say, "Dogs and Jews not allowed."
Yo guys, it's your boy Fabian back again with another video. It's time for another Filipino reaction. It has been a while and I'm looking forward to this. So yeah, as you've seen in the title, we are checking out an open door Jewish rescue in the Philippines extended trailer in brackets. Now obviously I've done a few Filipino reactions recently where I checked out the history of the Philippines and whatnot, yeah. Things that you didn't know about Philippines, that kind of thing. And this was one of the topics. So I thought, you know what, yeah, there's a few people on YouTube that reacted to this, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna check it out. But before we check it out, make sure you subscribe down below, press the bell notification button down below so you can be the first to know when I upload. Check out my channel because there's a lot of Filipino content on there, and keep an eye out because I upload every single day. But let's stop the talking and crack on with the video. An open door Jewish rescue in the Philippines extended trailer. Let's go. I'm gonna say this now, I'm not gonna stop it too often just because I don't want the video to be too long, and plus I don't think this is the kind of thing where you should chop it up too much, so I'm gonna let it run.
We would go to the park nearby, and we would, by the time we were 5, we would see benches that would say, "Dogs and Jews not allowed." And couldn't quite understand what all this was about.
When Hitler came to power in 1933, I was 2 years old. And my father, being the chairman of the Socialist Party in Cologne, which was one of the two parties that opposed the Nazis, the Communist Party being the other one, was accused by the Nazis of having murdered 2 Nazis.
In my mind, concentration camp, I knew it was a terrible place and we would most likely be killed there. So it was fear, terrific fear. And so we started hiding.
We were told that there was basically a man in government who was an anti-Semite and who was very antagonistic towards the Jews.
We take the train home.
How mad is it here that you've got certain individuals, or not certain, a lot of individuals who have been through this kind of thing, you know what I mean? It's crazy to think here, the vile nature of this world at times, man. Honestly, like it's actually disgusting when you know this this stuff, but like when you hear like accounts, like personal experiences, and like when people talk about what they've been through, it's actually disgusting, honestly, man.
We take the train home, and very often there were kids waiting for us, older kids, as we came out of the train station. And they started running after us, 8 kids, and throwing stones at us and calling us dirty Jews. So I became a very fast runner.
In 1937, a group of Nazis came to the door with a German Shepherd and wanted to see about the Jewish books. And my dad had quite a library. The dog frightened me terribly. It was a big police dog. And they took the books. There were a fair amount of Jews living in that apartment house. They took all these books, took them into the backyard of the apartment building, and there was a whole pyre that was built and basically burned all those books.
They took the German citizenship away from my mother, my father, and myself. So now we were stateless.
My dad was arrested and was arrested in the Breslau Town Hall. My mother told me that, told my brother and I that my dad was away on a trip, on a business trip. Really never divulged that he had been arrested, and but cried bitterly, and we couldn't understand why she was crying.
My father was told by the Nazis that he...
Do you know what's crazy as well? Like I said already, we all know these kind of like what happened in the world, right? Obviously, like you'd have to live under a rock not to know this. But I don't like, and I'm talking about myself here, I don't actually know the proper ins and outs. So you see the stuff they're talking about here, they came in, took the books, burnt them, whatever, right? I didn't know all that, do you know what I mean? Like maybe that's, I don't know why, we didn't really get taught too much about this kind of thing at school. So yeah, like we haven't really like, we know like the timestamps of what happened, but like to go into detail, we haven't really.
My father was told by the Nazis that he had to get rid of all his houses. He could only take 100 marks out.
With the implementation of the Nuremberg laws and depriving all German Jews of their German citizenship, this that enabled then the government to confiscate businesses, to confiscate homes, to appropriate all their assets. It was not a physical extermination, but it was a social annihilation, because it annihilated their place in the social fabric of German society and treated them as non gratis, as foreign enemies living amongst society.
My father's family left Germany.
And you know what's crazy as well, yeah? You see when you see like photos of like that time, a lot of the photos I've seen have been kids as well. So yeah, man, honestly, like the world sometimes, yeah, you just wanna jump off.
My father's family left Germany in 1939, so it was late. And in fact, my father's uncle, Walter, with whom he was very close, was actually taken by the Nazis and killed in a concentration camp. They were well-educated German Jews who believed that this was not going to affect them.
When we got this telephone call, we packed our bags, we left within an hour, and all of our furniture, everything else, pots, pans, dishes, whatever was in the kitchen, we left behind. And we never went back there.
I thought any minute they're going to stop the cars and send us off to a concentration camp.
A new law came out that German Aryans were not to go to Jewish physicians or not be treated by Jewish physicians anymore. And then my father realized that the time is up and he should better start looking around for another country to take him.
When we boarded the ship, it was a bit exciting.
I'm very interested to see though where the Philippines comes into this, because like there's a big distance, you know what I mean? It's not like it's neighboring. So yeah, man, it's it's a very interesting topic.
When we boarded the ship, it was a bit exciting for me. It was sort of an adventure, and I felt somewhat secure. I had my brother there, I had my parents there. I know I was going to a new country, but it was somewhat exciting.
Quezon, like most Filipinos, was Catholic, and yet he developed an affinity for Jews because he felt that there was a sort of a symbolic brotherhood between Filipinos and Jews. That is, that as the Filipinos were the recipients of racial discrimination and bigotry on the part of many Americans at that time, that the Jews were similarly the recipients of bigotry by the Nazis. And so even though Quezon had extremely important and critical political and economic issues to wrestle with at this time, he was willing to take a stand to help the Jews.
My father applied to the Philippines.
Fair play, you know, because even in today's day and age, today's politics and whatnot, yeah, you don't have many countries, many leaders who just open doors for people in need. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, fair play to him.
To the Philippines, but didn't know at all where it was, what it was. All he knew was it was somewhere in the Pacific. So he looked up his encyclopedia, which was published in 1898, we found out later. And he read that this was an island discovered, or set of islands, 7,000 islands discovered by Magellan. It's under the Spanish crown. Spanish was the national language. So naturally, we immediately started studying Spanish.
When we got to the Philippines and we're staying in the boarding house.
Let me know in the comments below, actually. So in the Philippines, is there now a big Jewish community? Because you would think maybe like as time goes on, the community might get bigger. So let me know in the comments below, is there a big Jewish community or has it kind of eroded over time?
When we got to the Philippines and we're staying in the boarding house where there are all sorts of different people, Filipinos, mestizos, Caucasians, etc. To me, there was never any distinction. To me, they were all people. And to this day, I feel that way. But it was never a distinction to me.
And I was very impressed because we rode up Dewey Boulevard into Pasay, and it's a lovely beach, lovely beaches, beautiful banana trees, and there were the polo grounds, I remember.
One of the things we did fairly often.
Do you know what's actually crazy, yeah? So imagine you're going from all that horrendous stuff, yeah, where they were located initially, to now going to the Philippines, and now you've got this like beautiful scenery. And like she explained it now, it was looking beautiful, right? So imagine going from the horrendous situation you were in to that. Honestly, it must have been like heaven. So fair play to the Philippines, man.
One of the things we did fairly often was go to the movies. And there were half a dozen good movie theaters in the Philippines. The Lyric, the Ideal, the Gaiety Theater. I would say we probably went to the movies maybe once every couple of weeks.
The games that we played was mostly Sipa. Sipa is, it's a round metal thing with strips of paper, I believe, and you kick it with your leg. And the one who could kick it the most, of course, was the winner. When you saw...
So what, like keepy uppies with a football?
How the doors were basically closed to all of us except the Philippines, and how the Filipino people are a very warm people. They're a very friendly people. We learned Filipino songs, and there were quite a few performances. Art was very important. And Filipinos have very, very good voices.
But you're telling me, honestly, yeah, I've been reacting to the Filipino content for quite a while. I'm telling you, everyone can sing.
My father spoke often of his Filipino friends and recounted things that were these small moments, but clearly moments that for him were all about friendship and happiness, and something that was very lighthearted.
As we were sleeping in the middle of the night, the house was shaking as if there was an earthquake. Everybody woke up. So we ran outside and stood in the street while the houses were shaking. But there were these large booms, booms, booms. Turned out that we were being bombarded by the Japanese.
We had daily air raids. They were awful.
Oh no, imagine that now. You've gone from that situation to this. Oh man. You know, some people in this world here, like, you hear their stories and it makes you realize how lucky you are you're not going through all of this stuff, man.
It was groups of 4, 4, and 4, which you could barely see. Exceedingly well trained. And of course they bombed at random. And it was a very frightening experience.
Shortly thereafter, all of our friends that were either American, Canadian, British, or French, which were the Allies, enemies of the Japanese, were rounded up by the Japanese and interned at San Tomas.
The irony of this is that these refugee Jews from Germany and Austria who had passports identifying them as German Jews are not arrested by the Japanese. The Japanese don't care if they're Jewish. They have a German passport. That means that they are an ally, and they are not arrested, and they are not interned or incarcerated.
Honestly, like, again, look, that's politics for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, what she just said there, to be honest with you, doesn't even make sense in terms of the whole story. But just because you got a piece of paper or whatever telling you you're a certain thing, yeah, makes all the difference in their eyes, man. It's like crazy.
I really...
These stories are honestly so fascinating. Do you know, there's something about like these kind of like historical issues that have happened, and you watch the clips in like black and white. I don't know, man, it's so fascinating to watch. Obviously despicable things happen, but it's fascinating to watch.
I really did not want to leave. That was my home. That was all that I knew. I was there from the time I was 7. I was there for almost 9 years. And that was my home.
For me, the Philippines, it may not be my motherland, but my adopted motherland. Because if it had not been for it, I would not be the person that I am now.
Roosevelt and Churchill saved Western civilization. But Quezon, and so few people know that, President Quezon of the Philippines, saved 1,200 Jewish souls, as many as Schindler, maybe even more. And that is the epitome, basically, of Judaism. It says if you save one soul, you save mankind.
Alright guys, that's it for watching this extended trailer of an open door Jewish rescue in the Philippines. And just to conclude, very fascinating video that we just watched. It kind of made me want to watch the whole documentary. But fair play, well done to the Philippines, the president at the time. You know what, yeah, that is something that leaders nowadays could probably learn something from countries like that. And yeah, very well done to Philippines, and that was a fascinating watch, man. But Philippines, lovely people, honestly. So yeah, I really enjoyed that video. Hope you guys enjoyed it too. I'm gonna wrap things up. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment below with some more suggestions. I'll try to check it out for you guys as always, but I'm gonna have to love you and leave you. So thanks for watching. Keep yourself safe out there. Have a good day, have a good evening, and until next time guys, I hope you have a good one.